Another theme that has come up over the last hour or so is the idea of coming off the beaten track. From our experience, my wife Elaine and myself were both in Waterford Camino tours. We set it up 3 years ago. I think if we'd known what lay ahead of us, we probably would have stopped there and then, but we kept going. And through the hard routes and the hard slog, we're arriving now at where we want to be, but it hasn't been easy. And a key part of that, a key stepping stone along the way, has been our time in Wales quite recently, but it nearly cemented and affirmed the things that are really important that I'll just clarify. When people are in on a Camino experience, or when they come off the beaten track, that's when the magic happens. When they're not surrounded by tourists, when they're not plagued by queues of tour buses, when they're not on the paddy wagon type experience, taking off their iconic things, that tourist will always be there, and they'll be there in their multitudes. But there is a unique opportunity now to tap into slow tourism. Wexford, Wicklow, Waterford are perfectly positioned, along with our counterparts across the water in the 3 counties there, to tap into something that I believe is evolving, it's coming, and it's coming in a big way. We've spoken with tour operators like Joe Walsh Tours, who would have said that traditionally they brought people from North America and from Canada to the hot points in Lourdes, Medjugorje, Fatima, and that's all changing. And they expect an 80% turnaround in the next 10 years in the sort of tourism that has been happening. They expect more tourists drawn to the outdoors, to adventure, to pilgrim, to off the beaten track, to mindful spiritual experiences away from the crowds. Now try go to Killarney in the middle of the summer. Try go to the Burn or Westport or whatever. These places are saturated, there's an overkill. There's a huge opportunity with vision and a little lateral thinking to create something unique and special. So what do? We've created, and I'll show how Wales was very important in this. We create a 6-day signature Camino experience in the southeast of Ireland. They'll come in, they'll stay in a hotel or in a guest house. Instead of following the Camino paths, say like in Spain where you do 20k every day, we create an experience every day that will live in the memory. So it's not just about getting the miles in, because some people are a little put out by that. It's more creating something that will leave an imprint that will last long after the holiday is over. So we create a day on the Greenway where they might have a mindful, reflective walk by the river shore. They might cycle the last stretch from Durrow into Dungarvan. But in the afternoon we might pop over to Lismore, see the castle, call into the Heritage Centre, have a lovely lunch, have some music, come back that night and have a lovely dinner, a lovely meal. And it's this creating moments that live long after the experience is over. But in some ways, and this is where the Wales experience came in, we were nearly selling out on what comes natural to us to try and appease the demands of a wider market where it's all about mindful and stillness and all of that. And we nearly shied away from the pilgrim side of things. Even though that's my background, Elaine and myself have had Peace Choir, the Island of Ireland Peace Choir, and we've worked on spiritual music for the last 30 years or so. And what our time in Wales was a game changer for us, because the people we met that I'll explain, they said, no, stick to what you do best. Stick to pilgrims, stick to heritage, but bring it alive exactly as you're doing. So we met a group when we went to Wales. We spent 5 days. We walked to different coastlines. We were totally stunned that the coastline of Wales, their Copper Coast, is totally walkable. It's accessible. It's amazing. And the views, when you're beside the sea, you sort of connect to something timeless. And you don't have to say anything. It doesn't need an additional commentary. But when you walk from Solby, say, into St. David's and followed the pathway of St. David's and arrived at the cathedral, it was just stunning. Every bend, every nook and cranny you passed, you were looking out at something timeless, something special, something ancient, but yet something that connected to where we were there and then that day. There were horses roaming the countryside. We came to St. Non's Well. We came to the old ruins of St. David's Church. And in some way, the past and present merged seamlessly. Our journey, our own personal journey, connected to something timeless, something universal. So we met with a group from Journeying, an Ian Tweedale and a David Lead, and we spent the 5 days with them. We met them, we built up a real connection. Why do I think Ireland and Wales, specifically the three counties in the corner and the west of Wales, why can that be a good fit? First of all, what really struck us is that there's a natural affinity between the Irish and the Welsh. On a human level, we got on great. There was no awkwardness, there was no trying to be. We're fellow Celts, there was that natural welcome, the love of a pint in the evening or a nice meal together. We met over meals, over food and over a pint, over a drink, over a glass of wine when we had the walks done. But maybe deeper than that, there was that searching for something deeper. They're part of a network that's not just confined to Wales, they're also in England, Scotland, they're connected with Iona. And in some ways, they shared our vision and our belief in something. So we spent the 5 days together. At the end of it, we decided, right, let's work together. And we worked out the intricacies. So we're welcoming our first group as part of Journeying, where Waterford, Camino and Journeying are teaming up. We've our first tour in March of this year. We're bringing the Peace Choir, the Island of Ireland Peace Choir, to cement that friendship back over to Wales in April 2020. And we hope that the connection will build from there. And to start that going, the return trip is happening in 2 weeks' time, where Ian Tweedale is coming over to Waterford and to Wexford. He'll be meeting, I know he met with Rory over there and some of the Wexford team in the last couple of weeks in Wales, and he'll be coming back here, and we hope to bring him up to Wexford and bring him up to let him out of Waterford for an hour or two, and we'll get up to Glendalough as well. So for us, just so that we feel that if there's a little bit of lateral thinking, Glendalough is amazing. And we've linked up, rather than us feeling we've an authority to go in and sort of deliver Glendalough, we're teaming up with the Chairman Spirituality team, Father Michael Rogers. He's a mystic, he's very down to earth, but he's amazing. And when you walk St. Kevin's Way around the Upper Lake in Glendalough with Father Michael, it's just unbelievable. It transports you to a different place. In some way, whatever it is that's troubling you, or whatever it is that whatever you're dealing with at that time, it sort of gives way to something greater. You feel you're not on your own. You feel you're part of something more cosmic, and that we're not alone, and that we're not abandoned. And if there's another thing I've learned through the last 3 years, is that every person that goes on Camino or goes on holidays even, they're carrying their own stuff. They're dealing with stuff, and it's not always good stuff. And they need to process that, and the outdoors has a way of doing that. In Wexford, we've met with Catherine McParlin, and we've met with I see Owen there, and Elaine as well, and we've had great chats over the last few days, because we feel that rather than us come in and say, right, this is what we're going to do in Wexford, we want to nearly work in collaboration with the team already on the ground. There's some amazing trails. We had a look at from Ravenshead down Corry Beach. It's phenomenal. So, and we don't always have to walk the exact path of our ancestors. Sometimes we can be nearly hostages to tradition and ignore the wealth of what's happening all around us. So we just had chats with them about the sort of iconic experiences that you could roll out in Wexford, and then team that with what we do in Waterford. When we're in Waterford, our welcoming reception, just to give you an idea, it's not just about set of pilgrim, or it's not. We go into the wine vault in Waterford Treasures. They'll have had a tour of the Viking Triangle with Donica. They come down to us, we've music and sort of spiritual music. We'll have wine and canapes. And we give a little talk that gives a little bit of context, but it works. And why does it work? It's got music in it, it's got nice wine in it, and it's got food in it. And they're a great combination. And create a setting where you're sort of giving people a sense of space and pool all of that together. And all of a sudden, they leave that day after the welcome reception really up for what's coming. And if we've heard, everywhere you go, you hear this word collaboration. It's easier said than done. But if people could forget boundary walls and county walls and that, and really pool the resources together with an openness, that if we help each other, it's actually a far greater chance of enduring. You might get a short, quick book on the short term. So just to wrap up, in the next, you then have to sort of work on practical, tangible steps. So we're working, not exclusively, but we'll be working with Journeying. They'll be coming here in the next 2 weeks. We'll have our first group from Wales in 3 months' time. We'll have the full Island of Ireland Peace Choir to give that creative spark over in Wales. So any of our Welsh visitors who spoke so eloquently and passionately earlier, we're there and we're there to support. So if you want us to visit your county when we're over, we'd be more than happy to do that. And we just let it roll. But our aspiration, I suppose, down the line is modern technology, go the self-guided route, roll out something that people are able to do themselves. They don't need us holding their hands. But that can be done really cleverly. So say in about 2 years' time, after we've tried and tested the whole thing, and this is in association with Ian Tweedale as well in Wales, we hope to roll out a sort of self-guiding app so that people can do trails in Wexford, in Wicklow and in Waterford, along with the 3 counties on the western side of Wales, so that we can roll these out together. And today is a good day for us because you get knocks along the way and it's not always easy. But we met with a group called Follow the Camino in Dublin. It's been coming for the last few months, but they've taken us on now and they want us to, they'll be exclusively handling our 6-day Camino package. But we've said there's something very special coming in 2021, and that's Celtic Routes. So we feel that getting our own side here in the southeast of Ireland right first is a key stepping stone. And hopefully by 2021 we'll be rolling out something very special that involves Wales and Ireland. Thank you very much.